The show is about to begin.
Hang in there, it is!
Smiley Kaufman for 61. Wow.
Featuring Smiley Kaufman.
If you're at a local IHOP at a PGA Tour event, you might see Hideki Matsuyama.
Clear up in the stance, strengthen the grip.
His co-host, Charlie Hume.
We've now picked 5 of the last 8 winners on the PGA Tour.
Oh, just go in the hole. Please go in the hole. Please go in the hole. Please go in the hole. Yes, sir!
And the biggest names in golf.
That's a great question. Can I talk about it?
I don't think I'm ready.
How good does it get, SK?
Why not us, Troy?
Today, live from the Pinecrest Inn, it's the Smiley Show. So long, everybody.
This is the Smiley Show.
This is the Smiley Show. Hello? Can you hear me, Smiley? You got me? Oh, okay. Well, we're back to having our tech issues. Can you hear me now?
Hola.
Oh, hola. Okay, there we go. You guys scared me there for a second. I thought we were back to our days of tech issues.
I was sitting here doing a little bit of stat counting.
Ah,
Collin
how
Morikawa
about that?
getting the dub. I had the best GIF lined up for Sepp Straka. You know the Vince McMahon? Is that his name? The WWE guy?
Vince McMahon? Yeah.
Big man.
Mhm.
You know when he does this. You know.
Yes. Yeah.
I had written out. I'm so disappointed that I didn't have the opportunity to tell my kids about the eagle that Sepp made at 18 after a 15-minute wait. Just Colin's emotional, man.
Yeah. We as Smiley mentioned, we're currently watching. As we fired the intro, Colin's last putt dropped for the win, and we're listening now to him talk on the CBS broadcast. This is Colin's first win since the end of 2023 at the Zozo.
Sounded like they're expecting. Did I just hear that right?
That could be the case. We saw his wife walking up. They're married, correct? do some fact checking on that. Yes, yeah, I was gonna say. I don't want to be presumptuous. There.
Charlie said, "Is this out of wedlock?"
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, everyone does things at their own timing. I'm not judging it. I'm just saying I didn't want to improperly label a significant other, especially on Valentine's Day weekend of all times. I'm playing hurt a little bit. I feel like this is I've done this now twice this year where I've synced up. I'm on the same virus schedule or bug schedule as Ludwig Oberg, where they're expecting. Okay, good. Yeah. So I'm a little bit banged up. We're playing a little bit of a flu game this week. We're gonna do the best we can. Apologies if lack of mental clarity shows up in the show, but for Collin to win, the first thing I thought about watching that putt drop was we spent the whole year 2024 and really leading into 2025 saying like, golly, this guy did everything he could that following year to win without winning, including he would have won the 2024 Tour Championship was being played under the 2025 format, but did not. And so, after a more challenging year last year, where he almost wins the Arnold Palmer Invitational, but of course Russell Henley kind of pips him there at the end with that chip in. It's nice to see Collin back on the winner's circle, and not necessarily. I mean, he opened the season, he missed the cut. It's the Sony and then T54, the W Phoenix Open. And we heard him talking throughout the week with Amanda Balionis and others saying like, really, didn't feel like I had my game and kind of beating myself up trying to find it. And where's he end up in the winner's circle here on Sunday?
Yes. I for one didn't see it coming, even though any player can find form at this level and win on the PGA Tour when you have just the exceptional ball striking Collin Morikawa that he has. And you go look at his stats even from last season, you're like, oh, he had a terrible year. And you go look at his tee to green stats and he's like at the top of all these stats of whether it be iron, tee to green. And you're just thinking to yourself, why do we continue to go back and forth on this guy? Like, he's a generational iron player. Like, he's one of the best iron players that we've seen come up in a very long time. Now, I think there's a couple reasons that we kind of go back and forth on this. So we have that very hot 2024 season where he had 7 top 5s, multiple runner-ups, close calls, just like you were talking about, Charlie. And then even into the following season, second at Century, and then that Bay Hill loss. I think that was the one where it felt like it was Collin Morikawa's to lose. It was a difficult day, hard golf course, firm conditions. This is exactly what Collin Morikawa is built to win as far as PGA Tour events. Like, that should have been felt like a shoe-in victory down the stretch. Russell Henley chips in at 16, and all of a sudden he gets off 18 and Russell Henley's winning. He's like, what just happened? And I think that event, I think, I don't know if haunted is the correct word, but I think just kind of didn't get him the confidence that he needed to carry on the rest of the season. It just kind of got worse and worse with then now changing things. He's changing putters. He's changing caddies. And we've talked about it a ton last year, Charlie, about how, him leading up to the Ryder Cup, like, do we really want to pick the guy who's like not necessarily like in form, changing a lot? Like, is that a good recipe heading into the Ryder Cup? This is also, he still made the Tour Championship, so it's not like he had like a bad year in 2025. But, and then two, the last thing I'll mention with the Ryder Cup is that how often have we brought up, gosh, how could you send out Collin Morikawa and Harris English to play in the Ryder Cup? These guys can't handle the Europeans. And I think there's just been a lot of negative talk when it comes to Collin Morikawa, just in like what he's able to bring, whether it be to the teams or what he brings to the PGA Tour week to week. And today, was it an answer to, is this guy going to win a ton moving forward? I think getting the monkey off his back was a huge start for a player like him. And you've seen it. Once he starts winning, it can come in bunches, and not just it's not just events like this, which, hey, Pebble, a signature event, it's a pretty big event, but it felt like more like a Corn Ferry Tour event with the scoring, who was going to win, a bit of race to the finish. But This guy's built to win on very difficult golf courses. So as we head into that stretch coming up, that this could be the event just to kind of get that confidence back.
Well, I mean, I think that you mentioned, well, why do we always doubt this guy, or why do we always kind of call his game into question? And I mean, for me, maybe individually, I'm sure others maybe feel the same way. I don't know it's so much that we call his entire game into question, it's just certain parts of it, right? Like the ball striking's been there, except for that one year where he had that kind of, he started hitting balls, started drawing it more so than cutting it. He's trying to kind of figure that whole
But the
piece
stats
out.
were still fine.
But
Like it just wasn't exceptional. Like he
but
was talking about.
he's always been an incredible iron player, flusher of the golf ball. I just think it's the question mark's always been just, can he chip it and can he putt it?
Yeah.
And those have been, and this week, I mean, he's 46 in the field in strokes gained putting and still wins the golf tournament. And if anything, that's the greatest testament to what a great ball striking effort it was this week. I mean,
we got to talk about the Saturday round, because I sent you the stats of his Saturday round. I was like, Charlie, what is the most bizarre thing here? And you're like, dude, 18 out of 18 greens. Like, yeah, I mean, technically that's at Pebble. Not many people have done that with how
it's
small
so
those
small
greens are.
Yeah.
But he shot a 62 and losing strokes putting. Like, how is that possible?
Well, and that is, again, it's a testament to what a great ball striking performance it was, that he could be, he can afford to be that bad putting and still, shoot a round of whatever other part that is. But yeah, I mean, I think that I think for Collin, that's why it's kind of hard to handicap Collin on a week to week basis or event to event basis. It's like, if he strikes it at his best, like he did this week, and by the way, it is interesting looking at the changing conditions this week. Something we'll talk about a little bit later in the show. But look at the top of that leaderboard of the guys that Collin Morikawa, Sepp Straka, Scottie Scheffler, Tommy Fleetwood. I mean, these guys are all flushers of the golf ball, and the conditions on Saturday and Sunday were very difficult conditions. You needed guys that could shape it, that could play in the wind, and you kind of saw that cream rise to the crop. But I just think with Collin, it's just, can you. And I love to kind of dive into the data of, like, looking at absolute stats like total putts versus strokes gained stats, because, it may just be that everyone else weren't able to have elite putting weeks because you're putting on a surface like Poe that is so unpredictable, and with winds where balls are oscillating and things like that, that maybe it made his relative disadvantage smaller in absolute sense, even if relative to the field, it was still large in a strokes gained sense. I don't know. Not a math pod. These are just all theories we're working with right now.
And my brain even goes back to Collin Morikawa and him not closing out the century that one year when John Rahm came back to win. But it was more so about Collin Morikawa giving it away. Mm-hmm. It was a bladed bunker shot at the 14th. It was a chunk chip at the 15th, which I will never judge a man for chunking a chip at that place. If you've ever chipped a Kapalua, holy moly. So he's battled the chipping, the putting confidence, I would say, because I would say technique-wise, it's not bad. Like, his putting looks fine. It just seems like it's just wishy-washy to me. It just seems like a confidence issue. And so with that, I mean, it was a big week, especially it being a track meet. A lot of players like Sam Burns, one of the best putters in the game, being at the top of the leaderboard throughout the week. It was just seemed like a week where you had to go out and make 7-8 birdies a day, which we can talk about that conversation with, is this the best version of Pebble later? But just even when I turned on the coverage today at 12, I hadn't looked at the leaderboards yet. And right at 12 o'clock, I turned it on and I see a ball going in. I was like, I wonder who that was. And then I looked down and was like, oh my gosh, Scottie Scheffler is 6 under par through 6. Is he about to do what I think he might do today?
Well, and it sounds insane to do what I'm about to do on the show, because I want to put Pebble on hold for a moment and come back to Pebble, because it's crazy to think that on a week where we had, to your point, Scottie Scheffler opening 7 under par through his first 7 holes, making a late surge for his second straight week.
How sick is that, dude? Can you imagine getting to 18 and being 7 under through 7 at Pebble? Now, granted, when you look at it in a vacuum, those are actually fairly scoreable, easy holes for these guys.
Right.
But just like for every average Joe being like, can you imagine being on a buddy strip, being 7 under through 7 at Pebble? I mean, dreams, right?
I just walk off the course at that point. Just grab my bag. Head
Not getting any better than
Water Cove. Yeah, I'm done at that point. But with all that going on and Collin getting the win here, the top golf story this week was 8,000 miles away in Australia. and it might be, Smiley, the top story in sports, because 2 decades removed from his arrival as a pro, which, we heard the Tiger comparisons, nearly 16 years removed from his first professional win, Anthony Kim goes head to head with really the last 2 heavyweights on the Live Tour, John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau, and fires a bogey-free 63 to win the Tour's Adelaide event. And I think, just to kind of rewind a little bit, because there's so many chapters in the AK story. Like, we all remember the brash younger years, the white belts, the big belt buckles, the Nike stuff, evoking comparisons to Tiger, the guy that played with no fear, beat Sergio in the Ryder Cup at Valhalla. And then the complete disappearance from golf, right? Like, and associated with that, the struggles with addiction, the struggles with mental health that he's, now come out and talked about publicly in the years that have followed, and just the way he wants to make that impact on other people. And then I remember when Liv first came on the scene, there were all these persistent rumors that could Anthony Kim come out of retirement? Could the tour try to woo him this way to take him away from Liv? Then they're all the sort of the unfounded rumors as well. Well, he won't do it because of this insurance policy that we don't really know any details about. Will he, won't he? And then February 2024. And by the way, I'm trying to do this AK segment. I'm watching Johnson Wagner about to hit. He's about to hit the Jacob Bridgman shot off the beach here at Pebble Beach. This is so good. We'll update you on the Johnson Wagner shot when they come back from break. But then February 2024, Liv announces Anthony Kim is indeed coming back. He's going to be a wild card. I got to unearth my AK wild card hat somewhere around here in my archives that I broke out the Masters that year. We covered it on the show. We wondered how his game was going to be. And those first 2 years, the answer was not very good, or at least not the game that we were used to seeing and remembering for all the AK highlights. Like, the best finish he notched in 2 years there was a tie for 25th, and not a single point scored in their sort of ranking system. And he gets relegated outside of that top 48 zone at the end of last year, but then comes back and starts 2026 with the weekend that was supposed to be the Century. The only golf that was on was the Live Promotions event. We watched Anthony Kim win that event to get back on the tour as a wild card. And then
you grinded your way through that too.
I really did. I told you I was going to watch it. And by golly, I watched it. We watched that happen. And then of course, Patrick Reed leaves the Live Golf Tour. And now there's an open spot in the 4 Aces. You plug Anthony Kim right in, which is hilarious. Like, Anthony Kim and Dustin Johnson on the same team golf event. Like, put me in a time capsule. Like, tell me what year that is, because if that's like 2000, that's 2008. I'm there. But so he fills that spot in the 4 Aces, and now we're sitting here having witnessed probably one of the most improbable comeback stories in the sports history. Just given all that history, all that went on, and where he's at, 40 years old now. Here's where I want to start, Smiley. Anthony said this after the win. For her, he's talking about his daughter, Bella, to be able to run on the green and see her dad isn't a loser was one of the most special moments of my life. And I just remember you talking about, those moments, what that would feel like if that was Anna Carter, and just forgetting the golf for a second. Both of us, being dads, knowing how much that changed our life, and just looking at what he's been through and the way he's found purpose through fatherhood, amongst a number of other things, sobriety. How amazing was that moment to hear him speak about that?
Well, I could speak as a father. Okay, Bridgman's now hitting, and you got to keep me posted on this Wagner shot.
Hey,
I cannot miss this, man. Hold on.
We're trying to have a really somber, touching moment here, but Johnson Wagner is attempting to hit a ball off the beach here, which is just.
If you're still with us here in the live show, turn it back fantastic on CBS so we can watch Wags try to hit this shot. Bridgman hit it a little fat.
Yeah.
Look at how many people he's got down there. He's got 8 people there.
Yeah. Okay. We got to stop down and watch this, because I think, okay, let's take some predictions here. Do you think he goes, do you think he clears it?
I think
he's got a wedge in his hand.
I think it's just going to go through the green. I think he's going to land it on, just go straight through.
Okay. It's like, just get it up is the main goal here.
Okay. We're digging in. Come on, Johnson. We got to do a show here. Hit the shot. Let's go.
I kind of want to see him ricochet it off that wall, though, there on the right. That'd be,
all right, here we go.
That'd be delightful. Oh, contact's good. Oh, it looks really good.
All right, that's right what I
Good looks.
thought.
Yep, that's right.
Good prediction.
That's right. There he is.
Okay. All
right.
right. So
Johnson Wagner, he made on the green into the rough on the far side, just a few paces from where Collin Morikawa hit his third shot en route to his win. So that's the wrap on Johnson Wagner.
All right, where I was going with this is that as a father of two, I for one didn't get a chance to experience this win because we had lights off at 8:30 at our house on a Saturday night. That is our new norm. We like to get the lights off, make sure everybody's sleeping. And I woke up expecting to see that Bryson and John Rahm had won this golf tournament. I can't tell you the level of shock that I had on my face when I saw that Anthony Kim had won this golf tournament and by 3. I said, "What happened?" And going back and looking at the highlights and seeing the putts that he made from outside of 10 feet. These were not basic putts. These are quick putts, fast greens, sloping both directions at times. And Anthony was holding these putts and having fist pumps and bringing energy like it reminded you of why you liked Anthony Kim in the first place. I can remember too, this goes all the way back to when I went to the Scottie Cameron putting studio where all the tour players get fitted. Paul, great guy there. And first time I was there, I was probably 14 years old. And I walk in and I'm so excited to get my first Circle T, really cool putter. And I didn't know what I was going to get when I got there. And he said, "Hey, yeah, Anthony Kim was just here and we just fitted him, for that Terillium button back putter." I'm like, "Well, I want to do that. I want to have the putter that Anthony Kim has." And so the putter that I got that day with the team was a putter that I use and went on tour with, the same putter. I use it for, like 10, 15 years, this putter. But so I've always been a fan of Anthony. And over the years, man, like we didn't know where he went. We were always, looking for a sign. Like, I heard a rumor about this guy said he saw Anthony at a golf course and he said he hit some shots. And I'm like, really? Like, it was like finding Waldo, where was he?
Yeah.
It was a ghost situation. Everybody wanted to see him again. Nobody knew he was alive at some points. And you just assumed that he was struggling, obviously, with sobriety. And then had these multitude of injuries that he was dealing with along with it. And to come out on the other side of this, because I'll say this with Liv, there's no place that we would have ever seen Anthony Kim have a comeback story without Liv Golf. He wouldn't have been able to do it on the PGA Tour. He could have maybe a couple starts, but it took 2 years for him to find any sort of form coming back. And who knows if he would have gotten starts in the PGA Tour and would have given up just from not, whether it be running out of sponsors invites and just playing poorly, running out of, who knows what his cash situation was through that entire period. We assume that there was some big insurance policy, made a bunch of money before, but we also don't know what happened during that time either with any of the cash that he did have. So a lot of unknowns. I was super excited about the opening day with Anthony Kim. And after that, I was just like, I'm not that interested because like he's not the same version of himself. Like definitely doesn't look the same. It doesn't play the same. And so I just kind of ran out of, caring about it until over the years, you just kind of saw quotes from him and you're like, man, this guy's like really determined and working hard. His golf swing looks pretty good. It would have been easy for him to not take it seriously as he has. And to get to the point to where he's on a Sunday and taking down Bryson DeChambeau and John Rahm, not just taking him down, like literally like stepping on their throats on Sunday.
Bryson round was 2 over. John Rahm was 1 under. Anthony Kim was 9 under, I guess, today, Sunday, with whatever the time zone differences. I mean, that's to your point, stepped on their throats.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with Anthony, it's so interesting because I'm of the same, general era as you are of just, we obviously all grew up idolizing Tiger being, that much older than us. Anthony still being older than us, but felt like more of a contemporary and this sort of breath of fresh air that, and almost like I remember when Anthony came on the scene, it reminded me of the same way that I felt when I watched Tiger win the 97 Masters and just this, this sort of raw young potential. And then also just, I think in today's day and age, we have so much in the way of data and analytics and you know, you need to be a certain distance off the tee. And AK was never like one of the long, I mean, it wasn't like he was short, but he was never like one of the longest guys on tour, even when he was young. But he just had this ability, and that's why I love the Scottie story you're telling, of like to just make these huge putts and the huge fist pumps and the energy he'd give you. And that's why people loved him in these team competitions. And so when you requested today, you're like, I need the AK fist pump montage. And Zyre Golf came through with that reel. And every one of those things that goes down, he's just hammering it. And just like that to me was, it's fun to, it's obviously, I mean, again, as a dad, as you mentioned, it's so, it just not, I don't care what you think about the tour he's on or his past or whatever, for people to have redemptive moments like that and have it come through this sort of connection to a greater sense of purpose, I think is the coolest thing in the world. And so I'll
And
forever
who he
root for it.
beat, right?
Oh,
Like
totally.
just the way it happened. Like this is Live Golf's best event. It's the most attended event.
Yes.
It's got 150,000 people there. It's, you know, a part of the world in which it's,
Yes.
you know, this golf heaven where you have all of these people that just love the game, play the game, and to have it happen there is about as good of a place you could have had it happen, other than, of course, in a big market here in the States.
100% agreed. Like I think it's for Live, you cannot, like, if you're playing like you know, like Clue or Bingo, it's like Anthony Kim at the Live Adelaide event coming back to beat Bryson DeChambeau and John Rahm. Like that's does not get any better in terms of scripting a winner for your league.
And I think Jackson watched it last night. Might have him come in here in a minute just to give his take on what happened with Bryson and Rahm, because I didn't get to see any of it.
Mhm.
If you watched it in the comments, please tell us what you saw from Rahm and Bryson. But a lot of people were like, when are we going to start talking about Rahm not being able to close these things out? I mean, this guy is obviously really good at finishing in the top 5 on the Live Golf Tour, but hasn't won anything, which is just shocking to me. But you would think that 72 holes would have made a difference right off the get-go, but he almost won. I mean, this guy's unbelievable, right? Like, we're nitpicking here, but he should win more over there,
Yeah.
right?
100%. I mean, if the field is whatever it is now, you know, up to 54 players, I think it is, or you know, I have to go look. I can look at the leaderboard now, but obviously it was 48 to start, and I'll scroll down here and just double check that. Yeah, this week was 57 players.
Yeah.
You know, you should think that a guy that, you know, if we're talking about how we don't think signature event fields that are anywhere between, you know, 72, 80 players, those are, you know, deep enough and creating enough competition. Like a 57 player field is obviously not going to, you know, require, I know what you're laughing at too. AV, it doesn't help, but thanks for commenting. So but I think it's interesting for a number of reasons. You know, I think that obviously we talked about the human element of it. We talked about the league element of it. Like I think Live, for all the blows they suffered in the offseason, losing Brooks, losing Patrick Reed, pursuing all these different guys on tour that could have made a little bit of a difference, not getting them, that this is a huge boost for them. And then now you have the whole OWGR component where AK, I think I saw Justin Ray project that he could go as high as like 200 in the world rankings for this win. And that's coming from Lord knows where, because I mean, he prior to this,
Really?
yeah. So, and this is something where there are multiple pathways into these major fields, and one of them is you know,
Ranking
current
in the
season
Live
standings.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they've only had 2 events to date to the year. So
Man.
I don't. I mean,
you
can
know,
you
Augusta
imagine
Nationals,
oh
like,
my! Can you imagine
the
AK
ratings
getting
bump.
into? Oh, it'd be amazing, and especially if he's playing good golf. And this is obviously great golf. I'm not doubting. It's just we haven't seen a lot of this. But if his in his 3 starts, I got to look and see what he did in Riyadh. But if 2 of his 3 starts that have been Live affiliated this year have been a win on the promotions event and a win here in Adelaide, might be playing good golf.
Did he win the?
Or no, man, he finished third. He finished third in the promotions.
Okay, I was like, whoa.
I guess
Okay.
it wasn't that locked in. No, but it was. Yeah, he
I-
finished third in the promotions event.
I gotta tell just a quick note story about a PGA Tour player, really good friends with Anthony Kim. Grew up playing college golf with him, and him and I were playing. I think last year we were sitting there talking about Anthony, and he was like, Anthony's the one player who I've ever seen be able to comfortably shape the golf ball both ways. And the only other person that he has ever seen do it comfortably is Tiger Woods. And when we constantly are looking at data and the shot shapes that players have and how players should be adding more shots and having different types of versatility. And then you have other people saying you should just play the same shot over and over again because that's the most consistent way to play. I just thought that statement has kind of stuck with me for a very long time, just about what he thought of Anthony and just his overall talent of just like he'd be playing practice rounds with him and be like, yeah, I can't do that. It leads to the consistency that he was able to shape it both ways. So I thought it was a really uh, interesting comment and that just kind of stuck with me for a couple years now.
Yeah, I mean it's a true gift that not. I mean and this is not. We said some nice things about Collin Morikawa. We're going to say more nice things about Collin Morikawa, but look at your other winner this week. Like Collin Morikawa just plays a lot of cuts, just a lot, and it's not that he can't draw a golf ball, but it's a juxtaposition of a more modern type of player and the way that type of guy is built versus a guy that came up in a little bit of a different era and played golf in a different way, in a very home cooked way. And that's what we all really loved about that guy. And so, it's, I mean, I think it's, we're in a very interesting place with these two leagues, but I think it's ultimately having some level of interest on that tour. Like, I think I'd be interested to see what the tune in is next week for them now that they have the storyline they can build
Straight
on.
to Hong Kong. Just tough. It's just not a win. Like if they were coming,
Right.
Hey, we'll see everybody in Miami next week. People would be like, let's go.
Yeah.
Off to Hong Kong.
Well, and it's so
right,
it's so
right
funny.
when you had us hooked.
Well, and we're gonna have. It's funny how these two events tie together in a lot of different ways, because I think it's the same conversation we're gonna have about Pebble Beach and does it fit? Is this the right spot in the calendar? Is there a better place for it? We're just looking at this Australia event again on Live. That's fantastic in terms of fan support, in terms of energy. Should this be a place that a PGA Championship could go, or should we at the very least be including the Australian Open or the Australian PGA in the road of PGA Tour events that you're going to every single year? And the forever hang up is most of the people that are here watching this right now did not watch the live broadcast. They watched it the way we did, which is we woke up and scrolled through social media and caught up on the highlights on the back end. Tough to solve for that. So
yeah, I would say that just thinking about the Live Golf Tour and having this is one of their big marquee moments. There's been plenty that have happened in the years, but this is obviously the biggest story. It's going to be a national news story, really a global golf news story as well with Anthony.
Other than probably Ripper winning the first team event in Australia, right? Wouldn't you say those are the two highlights of the league's existence?
I was struggling to come up with ones in my head. I just was giving you the benefit of the doubt because I just couldn't really just off the top come up with it.
Don't make me laugh, dude. I'm sick of it. I'm hurt.
But I think we can all agree at this point that the PGA Tour, at this point, so many players have decided to stay on that tour and this be their home. But you can also see that, okay, what if Bryson stays? What if Rahm, he's going to be there for a while because he's signed through there. And Anthony, what if he stays for a bit? How can we get to a point to where we can have some type of, whether it be a WGC type of model where you play 4 events a year that are shared between the PGA, Live, and DP. Take all of your best, go play these events, especially if Live goes away. Like I know people are like, Live's dead, well, this was a pretty big week for them. And if they don't ever go anywhere, then you're going to have to find a way to meet in the middle to where you can see everybody kind of go up against each other. And I think the tour is probably in the best spot to have the ownership of all those things. So I think it'll be important for the future competitions committee to be looking into how they can evolve with when it comes to scheduling of their own tour, but also like, hey, are there avenues in which we can have ownership of these events where we do get some Live players, especially if it's their expectation that they're not going to go away. That would probably be the next move. You would have to think.
Marcus Rainwater brings up a great point in the comments here. and especially for you, Smiley, as a guy who's had experience gator handling down at Bay Hill, is this might be one of the reasons why they don't go to Australia. Did you actually see on the Live social feed this week where there was, I don't know specifically the type of snake, but it was like it's an eastern brown, like one of the most venomous snakes in the world that's indigenous to Australia, was just like winding its way through the crowd down there at the Grange at the Adelaide event.
Have you ever? Okay, the question is, would you rather fight a kangaroo or a venomous snake? And I've seen a kangaroo live. So if we're talking a male kangaroo, I'm not getting involved with the male kangaroo. I think I'd rather just take my snake bite and just try to make it out of there.
Yeah, it depends on what's at my disposal. Like if I have a shovel, I'm taking a snake. A 6-iron, I'd probably 6-iron, then I'm taking snake too. If I have something where I can reach far enough to bop that snake on the head, I'm good. The kangaroo's going to grab that 6-iron, snap it over its knee, and then use it to impale me. Like
Do you
those
think
kangaroos.
6-iron helps you with a kangaroo?
No, I don't think. I think any tool that I have, it's like don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Don't bring like a 6-iron to a kangaroo fight, because he'll use that against you.
He would cave my chest in with the kick.
Oh yeah. Those are mean animals. It's like hippos too. People think hippos, they look like no. Hippos are
polar bears.
Oh,
people like Coca-Cola.
People do There are a lot of animals that
you ever seen a polar bear eat a walrus?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You know what? The other one is
do polar bears eat walruses?
Leopard seals. Leopard seals are like this too. A lot of seals in general. Yeah. Mean.
Okay.
Mean
Leopard
animals.
seals. I've seen pictures of those things. Their teeth are insane. People that have gone down the Drake's Passage down to Antarctica, when they go do the polar plunge, they say that's like the biggest fear, is that a leopard seal is just going to come up and go ham.
Yeah. Leopards. There are lots of animals out there that as children, we have these these fun little books and fun little pictures of these animals where they're made to seem cuddly. Not the case. Leopard seal, one of them. Yeah. Backwards kangaroo jump kick the sternum. You're just straight 6 feet under. You're not coming back from that one. So yeah. Okay. Well, that was a nice little detour there. Smiley, I think unless you have anything else on the Live event, I want to take it back to the West Coast, back to Pebble Beach. And here's how I'm going to tee it up, because I want to talk about the elements in relation to this week and just the spot in the schedule. So here's a little snippet from the last time you and I were playing golf on the West Coast, which is we were playing in the Winds of Pacific Grove Muni, the day that the final round of the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am was canceled. This is the one that Wyndham Clark won. And this event in general this time of year has had, golly, going on 3 or 4 years now. We had the year that Justin Rose won, where there was hail. We had this year, the rain-shortened year. I don't remember it being specifically bad during the tournament last year when Rory won, but I do remember in the week leading up having a lot of rain. And just are you laughing at AV again?
No, I'm laughing at that day. Just
oh yes.
Do you remember that morning specifically about how badly I did not want to go play golf and how excited you were about, dude, we've got to go do this. And Francie's like, are you seriously going out and playing in this? And remember, I've played, at this point, I've played plenty of times on the PGA Tour. I'm not dying to go out and just be miserable. But you're like, Fran's like, it's good content. I'm like, you know what, Fran? You're right. It is good content. Let's go do this. And I proceeded to not find the face for 2 hours.
But you did make an eagle on that iconic par 5, 12.
Which people tell me, well, now I actually hit it out of bounds there. So,
was it internal OB?
No, I just didn't see the stakes, apparently.
Well, we were playing. We had a specific.
I saw my ball. I was gonna go hit it. I didn't care.
We had a different local rule that day. Yeah, I mean, I've never had more fun on a golf course. I don't think. I thought this was such a delightful day, and then we were leaving this place and trying to find a place to eat, and both of our wives reached out and said, "Yeah, it's actually shelter in place, and nowhere was open except for a Domino's."
Dude, all of the all those trees were falling down like on the drive on the way home. Definitely not our best idea, but we got to play with some shoobies, if you will.
Oh yeah,
So
Stupid was a great time. But it was. I mean, the reason I bring this up is because we saw high winds this weekend, gusts up to 40, 50 miles an hour. I believe it took Minwoo Lee like 45 minutes to play the 18th hole on Saturday because the ball would not stop oscillating. And it's this year can be such a crapshoot for a venue that's so iconic, where it feels like sometimes you get a little cheapened on the experience for a tournament that should be, showcasing one of the golf's great venues. And I'd say that that's by design partially, because I think the whole thing with Bing Crosby having this event when it was it was a time where there wasn't a ton of tourism at Pebble Beach for good reason, because the weather can be so spotty. So it was, hey, how can we get people to come here and book the lodge and spend time and do this golf tournament when otherwise there'd be vacancies, right? But we're getting to a time now where we're changing the schedule around. We're deciding which events to eliminate, and this course, of course, plays so much better in U.S. Open conditions where it is a little further and faster in June, and that's where Tiger's iconic win there.
Place is just way more fun,
so
dude. When I never had played at Furman Fast, Charlie, until TaylorMade they have an event every year.
Good
and
event.
Is it in the fall or is it in the summer?
It's in the fall, yeah.
Played in it one time, and I just couldn't believe how much more challenging that golf course was. Just those greens went from being fairly like big greens in my mind to the smallest greens I've ever played, like in an instant. And that's just what firmness will do at that place. And then it was like the greens were fairly quick too. So when you got above the hole in places where players hit it today, like Scottie, when he hit it long right of the 13th hole, that's a 6. You can't ever hit it long right of that green there. Gets it up and down. You're just like, there's just the place is just soft this time of the year, and you need wind to be able to keep it to where it doesn't get to 30 in this day and age. Seriously, 30 under par is what it would be with light winds.
And I think that in terms of the reorganization of the PGA Tour schedule, one thing that we've heard rumored is, could Pebble Beach potentially be a venue for the Tour Championship? And the other thing I've seen connected to that is, like, could the second to last, whether it's the BMW Championship or whether it's reformatted, second to last event be hosted at Riv?
Shoot, now Torrey before that. Now you just gotta you just do the West Coast swing in the playoffs.
Torrey, Riv, and Pebble, West Coast swing in the playoffs would be, now you can't miss it. You cannot miss those playoffs, because it's three of the best venues in sport at a perfect time of the year weather-wise for those guys to go, instead of going to like Memphis and Atlanta in August. Not the brightest idea we've ever come up with. So I think that like, in my opinion, and I get why they constructed this event this way. I grew up going to the AT&T. I think it's really, it's a special place. It's great to get the guys there this week, but it's almost to the point where, and this week was a great example of, it's either really, really soft without the wind, and these guys can shoot nothing, right? Because it's like they're stopping balls exactly where they want to hit them. The only real complication is, like, are you playing in the morning wave and you're getting good PO, or the afternoon where you're getting trampled on PO, and how does that affect your putting? But it's either that, or it's what we saw on Saturday or Sunday, where the rounds are taking a little bit longer because of all the wind. And I just don't think that's the best version of what we can get there. So if they're going to shrink the schedule and they're going to move stuff around, I'd love to see this thing move back later, or just keep it as a U.S. Open venue.
Okay, so going back to Collin, he told Amanda that Cat is expecting. Yeah, having their first child. 100%. I think we all agree it should be potentially at a different time of the year. I enjoyed the craziness and the chaos of like not knowing who's going to win this golf tournament the entire day. So that part of it was fun, because sometimes you have days. Let's use Farmers Insurance as an example, where Justin Rose you knew he was going to win the whole day. I think I came up with like 6 different winners throughout the day. I'm like, oh, Burns is going to win. Oh, good for him. Like, I congratulated like 6 separate players that were going to win at one time. It sounds like Walkman's having a good time downstairs, by the way.
Can you hear all this? Because my dog's been barking, my children yelling. I got to text my wife. We can hear everything.
Can we get it together downstairs?
Can we get it? Can we just get it? We lost contain across the board. This is just so good. Hey, this is a total off chat. So first of all, this came through. It's highlighted with like a euro amount. I think this is a commenter from somewhere in Europe, and it's a super chat. This is like the first time we ever experienced this on the show. And the question is, what happened to the preview shows we used to do? What did happen? I don't think we ever did preview shows.
Our preview shows are just one and dones, man.
That's what you're either asking about the live streams we do on Instagram, where we will do our one and done picks on like Wednesday nights usually, or you're talking about major weeks when we kind of do our preview show that week. So
yeah,
thanks for the super chat. I'm sorry we can't help you more, but if you leave us another comment, we can get closer to answering your question. There we go. That was our first super chat.
The only thing I want to get to with Pebble that we just kind of lightly touched on, I think we got to get more into Scottie Scheffler and what we kind of saw happen with him today. He made 3 bogeys, still shoots a 63. The stat that I found to be the most interesting, 2 stats really. The putter was stupid today, 150 feet of putts. I think that was noted on the broadcast, but digging just a little bit deeper on that, he was 5 of 5 from 10 to 15 feet, was 5 for 5.
First strokes game putting today. That's wild.
Gained 4 strokes around the green or with the putter today. Missed a 4-footer on the 4th hole for birdie. Also missed 2 putts from 5 to 7 feet. So we're talking about 3 putts that he also missed throughout the day. I know after the round, he told Amanda that he played more aggressive than he normally would. And I think that's, for a guy who started the day 8 shots back of the lead and at one point shared the lead, what a performance by Scottie just to make it interesting. And he talked about how, I'm even more proud about these weeks that I was able to hang in there, give myself a chance. But looking at the week now, the reason why he lost, we got off to another slow start. That's 2 weeks in a row going back to Phoenix, where he shoots 2 over par, doesn't score well, just seems to be all out of sorts at Phoenix, and then goes to start this round out an even par. And you're just, all right, Scottie, are we struggling a little bit now? And then he's like, no, hold on. I'm going to be 20 under par the next 56 holes here. And then you go back to the waste management, did something similar. So I don't know if he just needs to eat like a different breakfast in the morning on Thursdays now, because I'm not used to Scottie getting off to slow starts.
Okay. So not to get you back off topic on Scottie, but okay, I think we're getting closer to the answer here. Are you supposed to pod for most tournaments your picks? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's one and done. That's one and done. Okay. So we figured it out now. Yes. That is Instagram on Wednesday nights. You can go find us there and we live stream our picks for the events. No, you're not bothering at all. Thanks so much. And we appreciate your super chat. Okay. So Scottie, I think that, today was to all the points you made about the way he putted. And again, it continues to trend in that direction. It's funny because we're trying to find things to fix. There's nothing left to fix in this game now that he's got the putting in a good place, except now it's like the slow starts of like the Thursday and Friday. We got to get it going a little bit more. But I thought it was interesting looking at his strokes game this week. Approach was the one thing that kind of lagged behind, which is so funny that, it's like that's been the thing that's been his bread and butter all these past few years. And now he's first in strokes game putting on the day to day. Stronger in all these other categories around the green was great this week. Off the tee to green, great this week. But it was the approach that kind of burned him a little bit.
I've noticed one thing with Scottie, and maybe it's just the West Coast. Going from, you got to remember too, you're going from dry air at a little bit of elevation where the golf ball was going 5 to 6% in Phoenix to Pebble Beach, where the air is heavy, you have wind, and the golf ball goes, potentially 5 to 10% less, depending on what time of the day you're playing. And I've seen him hit plenty of shots, and I think 15th hole comes to mind where he's got, middle of the fairway, and he's posing on it, and it just comes up long. I've seen it in Phoenix to this week. It seems like hitting the numbers hasn't been quite as sharp as normal. Now you're going from firm greens in Phoenix to soft greens in Pebble Beach. So there is that huge adjustment that the players had to make from one week to the next. But this is also Scottie Scheffler, who is the best at making adjustments week to week and day to day based off the conditions he's feeling. Now, this is it's just nitpicking a little bit, but I've just seen him come up short and long
Mhm.
more than I've seen him come up in the last couple weeks than maybe he has in the last couple years.
Well, maybe specific to today, as you mentioned about, when he's talking to Amanda and talking about playing more aggressive this week. I mean, I'm sorry, aggressive today. 'Cause he's kind of chasing it a little bit. This is a guy that we talk about always hits it 20 feet on the correct side of the pin, wherever the flat putt is, right? Whereas if he is kind of going after pins a little bit more, playing a little more aggressive, that's where I could see him. Some of the misses he had long today, or some of the misses he had short today, that would be explained.
It's
The
small.
approach on 18, the
Small.
approach on 18 was so filthy,
It
dude.
was great. Same with Sepp.
Yeah,
And I guess just to kind of round up the week, and there's one other person we
Yeah.
definitely have to talk about,
Minwoo?
but no, actually not Min.
okay.
It's just about how there were so many players that it felt overwhelming to try to talk enough about each one. There's so many
Mhm.
players that had a chance, with Sepp, Bridgman, Burns, and then of course Tommy Fleetwood, who we need to talk about
Have
with
to.
the get up that he's got going on. I think you need to, for people that are just tuning into the
Yes.
Tommy Fleetwood story. Why don't you kind of tell us what's going on here?
So Tommy Fleetwood, it's such an interesting study in a world where everything is commercialized and every player has, to some degree, some sort of partnership. I think we briefly saw a version of this a couple years ago where Garrett Kigo no longer had a hat sponsor and he was wearing like Red Sox flat brims like for every single event. But Tommy Fleetwood, of course, was clothed by Nike for a number of years, and it sounds like the expiry of that deal was at the end of 2025. And so now, while he looks for a new clothier, he gets to wear whatever he wants to. And so we've seen a lot of different looks on TGL. We've seen him, over on the DP World Tour where he's going into his closet and wearing, Augusta National polos. And this week shows up at Pebble Beach and he does what every player does, the rite of passage the first time they're playing Pebble Beach, is went and just cleaned out all the shops there that are adjacent to the putting green, because he had a new Pebble Beach hat or beanie or vest or quarter zip or hoodie for every single round this week, which really, that was near and dear to my heart as a guy who also merches out everywhere I go, as Smiley knows well. Bring home a new bag just about every day when we go outside for these majors. It was heartwarming to see Tommy embrace that in the way that he did. I just think that's so interesting, Smiley, that whether he knows there's a larger deal that's going to be negotiated, or doesn't feel like he needs something in the interim, just say, okay, let's just see what's good in the pro shop and just go out and wear it. And I think that's also funny too, because you'd expect some of these guys, like, do they have different performance material stuff? Do they have something that I can't get? It's like, he's just wearing the same beanie that Joe from Wisconsin has over there at the 848 tee time. It's going on right behind him with a push cart. Like, it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, the coolest part about it to me is because you have to imagine the pro shop is open to the public for people to shop throughout the week at the AT&T. I'm sure there's a big merch tent as well. But can you imagine just being there with your family and you just look over to your right and you see Tommy Fleetwood saying, do you guys have this in a medium? I love this shirt for tomorrow. And then you're sitting here with your shirt that you had. You're like, well, I probably need to wear what Tommy's wearing tomorrow. I'm going to have to get that. So then you just end up buying whatever Tommy buys in the shop. He's like, oh, let me get one of those divot repair tools. Oh yeah, let me get one of those. Oh, and even the branded rangefinder, we'll take that too.
What's the branded rangefinder? Can you imagine? He's got like two hangers up. He's like, which one of these do you like better?
And that bucket hat over there. Do we get a free bowl of chili in the tap room if we wear one of these? Come on, help me out with the movie. Come on, you know the movie.
Free bowl of chili.
Not free bowl of chili. Bowl of soup.
What?
Caddyshack.
Yeah, free. Yeah. I knew that.
Yeah,
Probably knew that, right?
you've never been a great movie quote guy on this show.
I'm not. Because I know the movie quotes, but often I need to like go and look them up to place them. Or like
Yeah.
I have a very small short list of movie quotes that I know all the time. What was the one? Other guys.
Jackson, I got you beat.
You
Oh,
always
the
see
other
with the
guys.
other guys. Aim for the bushes.
Aim for the bushes. It was also, gosh, I gotta look up. It's when Will Ferrell gets into the whole thing with the lion and the tuna. I think on who would win the battle between lion and tuna, and Will Ferrell has like the best impromptu
In Other
monologue
Guys.
of all
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yes, it is unreal. It's so good, such good acting, and
Yeah.
my type of humor, unfortunately.
Yeah, great movie. Rewatchable, undoubtedly. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting. You got, Minwoo Lee 700 today. Yeah, obviously he's hitting it pretty good right now. Sepp in the mix. I mean, there are a lot of names that I still just the small field just doesn't. I just wish it was 100 guys. I don't know. I'm in the same place on this sort of stuff.
I'm sitting here trying to find this quote. Here we go.
We've completely.
Even if you were in my even if you weren't in my food chain, I would go out of my way to attack you. If I were a lion and you were a tuna, I would swim out to the middle of the ocean and freaking eat you. Then I'd bang your tuna girlfriend. Well, okay, first off, a lion swimming in the ocean? Lions don't even like water. If you place it near a river or some sort of fresh water source, that makes sense. But you find yourself in an ocean, a 20-foot wave, I'm assuming it's off the south coast of South Africa, coming up against a full-grown 800-pound tuna with 20 or 30 friends. You lose that battle 9 times out of 10. And guess what? You wandered to our school of tuna. We now have a taste of blood. We've talked to ourselves. We've communicated and said, you know what? Lion tastes good. Let's go get some more lion. We've developed a system to establish a beachhead and aggressively hunt you and your family, and we will quarter your pride, your children, and your offspring. How are you going to do that? We will construct a series of breathing apparatus with kelp. Just the most unreal impromptu
It's so good.
thing I've ever. I mean, come on, dude. Will Ferrell's the best. I don't care if
He is the best.
Think he's stupid.
That's another one too. Like on the topic of animals that we think of differently. Like tunas are. I mean, most people know this now, but you kind of grow up and you got the little can of tuna, the Charlie tuna, like, and the tunas is kind of like little piddly fish. Like tunas are massive, dude.
Oh, huge.
They're huge. You're
Grouper too.
Fish. Grouper huge.
But I mean, an animal knowing podcast, but we definitely got our animals in.
We're animal knowers. Do you ever watch that movie or that documentary on Netflix, Jiro Dreams of Sushi?
No.
Oh, great documentary. I don't know if they took it off Netflix, but like they go to like these high end fish markets in Japan, and it's like they're how they source like the sushi grade tuna. Oh my gosh, dude! The guy who goes in there, he's like, cutting out like this raw fresh tuna, and it's amazing. Anyway, that's my tuna tangent for the day. Yeah, we've officially gone off the rails here. What other golf things do we need to talk about to wrap this episode? Or we've done it all?
I hit it pretty good the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, hit it pretty good.
What
played with AV. I don't know if he's still in here. He can test for it being pretty decent. Yeah, I feel pretty great. I'm seeing Tony next week at some point. And then I'll have 7 weeks on the road to where I probably don't play at all, but it's okay.
Bring your clubs
that time of the year. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Somebody else mentioned it in the comments down here about Bobby Fairway's card cam right now. Was how that weather at Pebble Beach is kind of hanging around the West Coast, and it's supposed to rain all the way through Wednesday at Riviera. So it's going to be soft there too. Again, just talking more about, hey, can we find a little better time of the year to play these sick golf courses instead of catching when they're soft and not their best. But anyways, that's all I got on the tangent there.
Well, it's good to see Riv after a year off.
It's
a real
a
shame
point.
after all the fires last year. But I'm just curious to see how the landscape's surrounded. It sounds like the club itself should be fine, but just the whole deal down there. It would be nice to have that course back in the mix. But yeah, to your point, like this is Riv in, I guess LA's a little bit hot that time of year. But if this is Riv in August, and it's like we're going from Torrey and we're headed to Pebble, a lot more compelling, I think.
Yes, LA is always a fun week. Could definitely be monitoring how much rain they get. There's a lot of guys on the radar who are playing real. There's a lot of players that feel like they're playing really good right now. So could this be the week that Jake Knapp gets the dub? Kind of feels like that could be a good golf course for Jake. And just as we kind of get towards the East Coast, and before we know it, it's going to be Players Championship week. So these are some big weeks coming up.
Yeah. So that's you like early Jake Knapp? Early.
Well, I've already picked Jake. So I just think Jake is playing as good as anybody. He's been in the top 10 in the leaderboard week after week after week. He's due to pop and win. Could it be at Riv? I think it's a good golf course for him. He's driving it awesome. Loves the West Coast. Yeah, Jake's high on the list.
Hideki playing good after the
Dude,
playoff last week. T8 this week. And
Hideki might be a play for me.
Hideki might be a play. All right. Well, if you're still in the comments, the guy was asking about a preview show. We'll give you our real picks on Wednesday on our Instagram.
That's right.
Enjoy it. And we don't
know what we have, but we
don't know what we have yet, but we think we have an all-timer. And probably not the way you're thinking of either, but we think we have an all-timer coming out this week. So just stay tuned and look for that in your feeds on Wednesday, if indeed we were able to pull it off. So
that's right.
That's it. That's all we got, Smiley.
That's right. All right, I'm gonna eat some chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, I'm gonna go sleep for about 14 hours. Thanks everyone for hanging out. We appreciate you watching and listening and commenting as always, and we'll hope to be streaming live with you once again very soon. Talk to you later.
Peace.
We'll see you next week on the Golf Channel. This has been The Smiley Show.